Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By 10 Forward 34.
Whoa.
Neat.
Denise Crosby presents William Shatner's Kate. Wait, no. Trekkies.
We said Trekkers last week because Jake told me it was called Trekkers, and it is not.
I don't remember.
Oh, did we? Well, either way.
We figured
As,
it out.
as Kate Mulgrew explains...
There is a distinction.
There is. Trekkies watch the show. Trekkers stalk Brent Spiner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
my god.
so much.
I mean, listen, I get where she's coming from, but...
Now Jake and I can also fill you in. Jake, really?
Shit, hold on.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Jake, what are you, me?
Hello? You've called it the worst possible time! Go away!
No. God damn you. You son of a bitch.
That was so good.
How did you not see that coming?
I was in the middle of a fucking sentence.
That's the point.
That was he nailed it.
That is the point.
God.
Neat. Jeez.
Yes.
Damn it.
So.
Damn it.
Trekkies, the documentary about Star Trek conventions.
The documentary that you can smell.
And just fans in general, and how some fans take it too far.
This is like everything positive Galaxy Quest tried to say about fandom. This was saying mostly the opposite.
And it's funny because, Jake and I also watched Trekkies 2, which it's a little bit of a response in that they try to show a few more normal people.
Oh, whoa.
And also people from more international fandoms. So they go to Germany, they go to Australia, they go around the world to see other people to show that it's not just California, there's also other people.
It's not just virgins from California.
But they also check in on some of the people that were featured in Trekkies 1, so I'll be able to tell you guys what happened to some of them.
Well,
It's
I
kinda
hope Brent Spiner's girlfriend is in jail or something, because I think she's a danger to herself and literally everyone else on the planet.
Is that actually the woman who stalked him, or...
Possibly. I don't think that's her. No, there's a really batshit woman who stalked Brent Spiner and
that woman
wrote a book about it.
Quite batshit.
Yeah, but
Imagine how batshit this other woman must be
Yeah.
if she makes this woman look not so batshit.
Yeah, go and read Brent Spiner's fan fiction? What's that freaking called? It's over there. Yeah, fan fiction.
You own that, don't you?
I do. James gave it to me.
Yeah, which is kind of the slightly fictionalized version of fans who stalk Brent Spiner a lot.
The Spiner femmes.
In Trekkies 2, it's even weirder because it happens while Enterprise is on, and boy, do women go nuts over Connor Trenier. I mean, I get it. Connor Trenier is very pretty. But he's also he doesn't deserve this bullshit from you women. Jesus Christ.
Who's that Trip?
He's
Yeah.
Trip.
Yeah, so it sure is. I couldn't help but think about it. I almost sort of want them to
Apologize?
revisit yet again, because Trekkies 2 was not... How long after was it? Not too long after, right?
Denise Crosby pitched this in 94.
Yep.
This was released in 99, but I think, all through that time they were gathering footage.
Well, no, it was made in 97, but not released until 99.
Okay.
Well, that's what she said. She said released in 99.
And Trekkies 2 was released in 2004.
Okay. Because what's interesting is, even the 2004 one, these both came out in a time... the shift that happened sort of within the last, 15 years, roughly. A little more, maybe. Where, in 97, I think even 2004, going to a convention was still just shorthand for giant nerd. Whereas now we're in an age where, studios have since clamped onto, especially the bigger ones, as, just huge parts of their marketing push.
Yeah, now it's you go there to buy toys.
Well, that's what it was then too.
Yes, but now it's not just fans showing up selling their handmade wares. It's Disney owns most of Merchant's Row and is selling you the licensed stuff themselves.
I'm buying it.
And again, like, it's a thing where even, for lack of a better term, I don't want to say normal, but people who can hide the fact that they're nerds in public will go to these things. Whereas before you were more likely to be seeing people who were bad at hiding the fact that they were nerds. Like, the whole convention circuit is now, like I said, it's just been sort of co-opted by studios, part of their marketing push. That's partly, obviously the fault of Marvel and Disney.
Yeah, big time.
But it was already happening too with the Twilight films. They were some of the first things to Hall H, is the big hall at San Diego Comic-Con. And they were kind of the first sort of more mainstream sort of film to do big Hall H announcements. And I remember the insular nerd boys being very mad that Twilight was invading their space, quote unquote.
Get over it, fuckheads.
Yeah.
If there's enough fans, you need to put them somewhere.
Yeah. So, nowadays, like, going to a con is something that, I mean, the other thing, fandom for genre things in general also is just much more like, just matter of course now,
I forget if it's in this one or Trekkies 2, where they do a lot of likening it to, especially Barbara Adams, the woman who wore her Federation Alliance uniform to jury duty. And they get bringing it up, like, in a matter of, is it different when people in the military wear the uniform? Is it weird when, like, random fans wear sports jerseys around?
Yeah, she definitely mentions the jersey thing in Trekkies.
Yeah, but I don't think they would wear... I mean, I think there's a difference between wearing your sports jersey to...
Yeah, and wearing, like, full pads.
Yeah, to, like... Yeah, exactly.
But also...
And to jury duty.
But also, she was like, they wear that shit year-round. And I was like, no... Football's only played until February.
Yeah, but you will see...
If you're wearing that shit in April, then maybe you do
will
look
see-
a little silly.
Fans will wear it around.
Yeah, fans will wear it year-round.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I have a different take on this film, I think, perhaps.
Gasp.
And maybe it's because I was going to Star Trek
I
conventions.
kept expecting to see you in the back.
Yeah.
I was
really
kind of waiting
hoping.
for
So,
it.
like,
Was it exaggerate?
for
No,
me,
damn
this
it.
film has a lot of, like, nostalgia. Like, all the people in this film that you might be looking at and being like, oh, okay, all right, that's all. Like, even Gabriel Koner, whatever his name is, who the you call it the worst possible time kid. Like, I've known that kid. I've known dozens of that kid.
Some days you were that kid.
Some days I was that kid.
I
right?
don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about
I
that.
do
but-
kind of want to watch his movie.
But
I was really impressed by the rendering he did, though. Honestly, he probably is making fucking money now.
Yeah, because he went on. He like worked on, like, what did you say, Battlestar Galactica,
The
Jake?
No
Yeah.
shit. Remember? Didn't I say that when we were watching it? I was like, this kid has got the skills.
He actually
He's
did
going
the
somewhere.
Starship flybys in the final episode of Enterprise.
Oh, that
He
sounds
did that.
familiar.
Good for
Yeah,
him.
yeah. He also did the visual effects of Trekkies 2. So it starts off with, like, a whole.
shit, good
You
for
see
him.
a space station
Yeah.
and you see some things, and I'm looking at it like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I see, like, oh, it's Gabriel Corner.
So-
But good for him.
So yeah, he's still I think he works on the Orville.
Oh,
He's
of course, because Seth Meyers MacFarlane is going to collect everyone who's even tangentially related to Star Trek.
Yeah. So, like, he actually did. Like, he became a visual effects guy in Hollywood. Which
Well,
I thought he might. I'm really happy to hear that, actually.
I mean, Paramount owed him considering they stole his title and premise. I mean, all right, yes, we didn't really get what the story was of his nemesis, but it did involve the Romulans.
That's true.
I'm just saying,
Maybe he was the actual writer of that movie, and that's why it sucks. So
his movie would have been better.
Yeah, it looked like it was better than some shows that were out there at the time.
I mean, it looks like it was better than Nemesis. So.
But yeah, so anyway, like, I don't know. I see this movie. I think that a lot of people were put off by how this film kind of portrays Star Trek fans as being the way they are.
All the focus people they pick some very strange people.
They sure do, but
who are, like, hyper fixated.
But here, yeah.
But then they also interview just a lot of people just randomly, like, on the side, and they have answers to questions and stuff, and you're like, yeah, that's, I could see, people being like that.
I think for me, it's hard to explain because, like, there's something so with a documentary and not a film. Obviously, you only have so much control over your subject and editing, but it.
Yeah, poor Denise. She had to talk to all these people.
It just kind of, I don't know, I can't explain why it felt it this way, but it kind of felt like I feel like there could have been a way to portray them more, like, sympathetically. I feel like it was still looking at them as an oddity. And I can't explain why it feels that way to me, but it...
Yeah, I think you're right. But I do think that if you look past the filmmaker's, like, obvious derision.
Yeah, well, that's my problem. It's like, there's nothing inherently wrong with the people, but it does feel like the film is kind of like, look at these assholes.
Yeah, the filmmaker definitely has a point of view, and it is definitely it's a sideshow, right? It's you know, the bearded lady, and you know, the world's tiniest horse dick. I don't know.
Yeah,
which is still huge.
Which is quite big.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, you know, horse dicks.
But like, you look at these people, and like, they're living their best life.
They are,
you know, and yeah, they're eccentric and weird and you know, when you know they interviewed some people, and you know, I can't remember if this was in the first one or the second movie, where they interviewed some guy who was like, yeah, you know, my family thinks I'm a friggin' reject, and then I started coming to Star Trek conventions, and suddenly I found my people.
Yeah, that's the thing. I never really found my people as much. So when I was a kid, I just kept a lot of this shit to myself.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I don't know. I see, like, it's very much like that opening scene of Galaxy Quest 2, where it's like, yeah, I've been to this convention.
Yeah.
100
But that's,
times.
and like I said, though, I feel like Galaxy Quest was way more, like, sympathetic. You know, and obviously, again, you've written it and stuff, so it's a little easier. But still, again, there's a way to make a documentary and stuff. Like I said, there's something coming through that feels a little, like...
Vindictive?
Yeah.
Well, the fact that they, like, choose to leave in the... You know, the phone call scene, like they did.
I love that they left that.
I do too, because it was like the funniest
hilarious
moment of the film. But,
well, it's pretty.
But it also like it's.
Oh, now come on! The funniest moment in the film was definitely when DeForest Kelley was like, "And someone sent me some dirty pictures and some weed,
and I kept the pictures.
Yeah.
I still look at them today."
I do kind of wonder though. Like he had to have set that up, right?
The call?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, because the way he said you called the worst Paul Stein did feel a little red. Is all.
I think that was just his vocal affect.
Yeah, I just think that's how he like. Throughout the film, he also mispronounces a lot of things. He strikes me as like
he said debacle weird.
Yeah, there was some other word that he didn't get right. And it reminds me very much of like the kids.
Like we do on this show all the time, and then teach Chris how to say things.
Yes.
I still can't say Orion.
Oh no, you just did.
Damn it!
I just knew a lot of kids in high school who were the I am very smart kid, and they would like have seen a word and they try to use it, but they obviously don't know what it means or how to pronounce it.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I've definitely been the person who's like only seen a word in a book.
Yeah.
And then when I say it out loud the first time, it's like, someone's like, what the fuck did you just say? It's like, I don't know. I've only ever seen it in print. I don't know.
Like the word vehement. Who would ever think that's how you're supposed to say that?
Yeah,
what a word.
vehement drives me nuts.
Teetotaler. I thought it was Tito Taylor for the longest time.
Tito Taylor.
Luckily, I think I heard someone else say it before I ever said it.
I remember it was the one that stuck out to me in the movie was plethora.
Did he say plethora?
He said plethora.
That sounds dirty.
It does.
I don't like that.
Or you're saying it like with the same emphasis as uhora. Plethora,
Yeah, I guess.
uhora.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's
does.
part of the vagina.
It does.
Like
I did say though to the
grossest part.
To the DeForest Kelley story. I
no
imagine
such thing. It's all perfect.
he sees the documentary later and he's like, oh, great. Jimmy tells the I saved a woman's life story. I tell the weed and porn story.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Jimmy doing story was very sweet. And then Kate Mulgrew was literally tearing up about, stories of visiting kids in the hospital and stuff. And it's like,
Yeah,
Kate
I kind of wish
Mulgrew.
that
They get so many depressing requests. Even Ethan Phillips was talking about how, like, someone wanted them to be there when they died.
I kind of want Ethan Phillips to pull my plug now. Who better?
I mean,
Who actually better?
No offense to Ethan Phillips, but he's quite a bit older than us. I'd like to think you'll outlive him.
But on the off chance,
the fact that he
Ethan, if
relayed
you're
that
around,
story in full Neelix makeup.
They probably just caught him on set.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously.
I was like, you should have heard me squeal when Neelix came on camera. I was like, yeah, it's Neelix! And I was like, oh boy, bet you never
Character
thought
arc.
that would happen. Yeah, so I've been changed.
I will say, though, I remember as we were watching it, you specifically saying in one of our episodes, probably... Oh, it was the Live Fast and Prosper. Where you're talking about, you remember going to cons back in the day, everyone's rank pips and stuff were like
Or
a little too big.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, those rank pips are too big.
Also, like the Klingons with the not matched head, like the head thing that just kind of looks like
didn't blend it.
Doesn't quite.
Exactly.
like the makeup's not blended and it's not quite adhered
you can,
right.
You
Yeah.
can tell it's a hat or something.
Yeah.
There was a Borg that looked fucking great, though.
Dude,
I was about
they
to
had
bring them
that
up.
great, like, they had a great, like
Thing on the neck,
their
yeah.
neck that looked really
Yeah, his
good. They
makeup was
shaded in.
fucking
Like, I don't even
great.
know what it was. Was it like a lesion or like a? It almost looked like something was like tightened around a part of his neck.
Yeah,
Just
no, he
little
did a
piece.
great job.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, there was definitely a gradient of quality in the costuming at these things, and like there were people. There was a Borg that was at a lot of the Boston conventions that had a great costume and had a voice changer.
Nice.
Oh,
So he sounded like the Borg, and I
That's
remember
sick.
there was one time like he'd been walking around all day talking like the Borg, and then like we ran into him. Me and my dad ran into him later in the day.
Just out at McDonald's or something.
No, at the convention, and you know he said something, and his voice changer was off, so he just sounded like a normal person. My father goes, "Oh, what? Your batteries die?"
Your dad.
Your dad is my fucking hero.
I feel like that would be almost akin to like running into when you're a child and you don't understand that teachers exist outside of school, and be like running into them at like the supermarket.
Right.
It's kind of like that, where you're just like, huh.
Well, you also must remember, Jake's dad is the least tactful man in the world.
He was saying it like
he has no filter.
He
in
said
his
it. He was saying it as a joke.
Yeah, I'm sure he thought.
Oh,
it was,
sure.
That sounded like a dad joke to me.
Yeah,
I'll
it
allow
definitely
it.
was. I guess I'll tell some other con stories. There was this pair of men, and I don't know if they may have been a couple. I don't know, but they were always together. And he was a Picard, and his friend was a Klingon, and they were at every con around here, and I was always in costume, and they really wanted me to join their dress up
role-playing club?
I don't know. They're like, oh, we are the members of the. I think they called.
Were they the Federation Alliance?
No, theirs was called the Galactic Alliance.
Ooh.
Or the Alliance Galactic.
How big were their pips?
I think it might have been the Atlantic.
That's a really personal question.
Alliance Galactic. They had the Klingon had a great. They actually, I may have it somewhere. They sent me a Christmas card one year with the two of them on it in full regalia, and
Nice.
the Klingon looked great. The Picard,
And you just think they might have been a couple? Because that sounds pretty coupley to me.
No, I'm sure.
I don't
like,
think non-couples
at the
do.
time, I didn't think of it because I was like,
Well, yeah,
8,
yeah. I'm saying now.
But as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, they were probably together.
I kind of wonder, just because the name isn't Star Trek specific, I wonder if they were like all sorts of cosplay groups. Like
Theirs was, I think,
Well,
it was just them. I think
okay.
it was them, and then like they're like, oh well, they wanted me to join. Like, oh, we have an Andorian who is 12, so you'd be the youngest member, but we also have other kids in the group. And I kind of wanted.
It's getting weird, Jake.
I kind of wanted to join, but my parents wouldn't let me.
Yeah, I wonder
and it's
why.
like that's probably wise.
Robert Wise.
Director of the motion picture. Okay,
Yes.
sure.
But it looked like that, the Starship meeting that Gabriel went to, where he was dissatisfied with his
Oh my
uniform.
god, he did so much nitpicking on his on
such
the
an asshole.
seamstressing of his see that's probably the wrong word. Tailoring is the better word. The tailoring of whoever did his
I mean,
uniform.
to be fair,
Well, she
it
fucked
wasn't
all this
it
shit
wasn't
up, but
great.
it's really
Like,
nice.
Better than I have.
well, exactly. Like that's the thing. Like I could tell that he's probably the type of person that was expecting and wanting something screen quality, like that would come out of a costume shop.
Replicator?
And instead, he's getting whatever, his aunt's sewn together on her singer. And it's just not, it's not the level of detail and quality that he would want for, a costume piece that probably cost, $10,000 to make
Right.
for film. But yeah.
Although I did like, there was one comm badge we saw in that dentist's office. It was like a take on the comm badge that looked almost like comm badge meets harp.
Oh, was it the woman who was like, I just told him I wasn't gonna wear the costume? It was on her, wasn't it?
Well, they all had it.
Everyone in that
I thought it was
dentist's
just
office.
her.
Yeah. joke.
she was very clearly, like, not into any of this.
No.
And probably, like, regrets being in this film.
Well, but also, like, he told me I had to. I mean, bitch, you could just get another job, you know?
It's not necessarily that easy.
Well, I mean, I know it's not that easy, but...
But what I did love, we were talking about that, where they're, oh yeah, it's a real fun place to work. I imagine right before this, like, so he's going to see this, right? Oh yeah, no, it's great here. I'm
We
not
love it.
at all trying desperately to find work in a different dentist's office.
Yes.
I guess my only point is that, like, if I started a new job and they said, here's the uniform, and I said, no, I'm not going to wear that, they'd be like, well, then you don't have a job.
No.
Like, I've had plenty of jobs where I had to adhere to a uniform that I didn't fucking like.
It does sound like he suddenly came up with the whole look one day. She may have already been there and was just like, what's happening?
Why does the whole building look like a starship now?
Yeah, like yesterday we were a dentist's office. Today we're a KB Toys?
Why does it suddenly smell like BO in the office?
I did say
that's a spray that we use.
I will say, though,
For authenticity.
the thing about that office that was the most depressing was the wallpaper, because that's just what the wallpaper was
Yeah.
in 1997. You know, like that was just 90s dentist office wallpaper. That had already been there.
I was waiting to see how long it would take for Chris to make a 90s design aesthetic nightmare joke.
I mean,
That
maybe
wallpaper.
it's just that. So this was filmed in '97, and maybe just Star Trek fans were behind fashion or something. But like, I swear, everybody featured in this film looked like they were out of the early '90s.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like the glasses, like those big ass glasses that everyone used to wear.
Yeah, I would just kind of have to be reminded what the progression was.
Yeah, like
because
maybe
my brain
maybe,
is,
yeah, exactly.
doesn't
Maybe my
follow
perception
that.
of what people looked like in '97 is
Well, I also
not right.
like, I feel like, you know, I don't know, but I feel like now there's sort of more options for glasses.
Yeah, but I can remember
But-
like my buddy had like wire rim.
Oh, but I just mean
Was
like,
your friend Rich?
No.
I was, well,
DeForest looked fucking great all the
Oh,
time
yeah.
with his big glasses.
but I just
with the
mean like,
chains.
I feel like
He
they were
did
more
look great.
I love him.
generally
Me
more
too.
expensive then.
Maybe.
So I just feel like when you had a pair, like you kept it until you had to change your
change it.
prescription.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think,
and even then, you just get new lenses.
yeah,
And
like
not
I
new
feel like
frames.
you probably just wore, like I feel like it was probably just that, yeah, those people just had those glasses for years because it was just like, I'm not gonna fucking spend
Yeah, and-
money
and
on new
being-
glasses
and-
just because they're out of date.
Yeah, and they also being nerds are probably not very fashion forward to begin with, so they're not like proactively going out and buying.
But you're
designer
right.
Glasses.
I did
Fashion
think like
forward nerds.
I did think the same thing at some point. I was like, these feel like 80s glasses. What's happening?
Yeah.
But also, I weirdly too, like they clearly didn't spend a ton of money on the film for this because like this was 97. This looks older.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely like filmed on 8mm or something. You know, it's not the best.
So maybe that's why it's slightly less jarring because the film also looks like it's from 92.
Yeah.
I liked the ladies with the radio show.
I was going to
Yeah,
bring
they
up
were
the
nice.
ladies
They
with the radio
seemed
show.
normal and cool.
The
I
first
want to
the
hang out with them.
I do too, dude.
early podcasters. It was way easier to get on the radio in the 90s than I would have expected.
Go to the radio station and
Yeah, and say,
be on.
I would like a time slot, please.
Yeah, it sounds like their
One
show was like
radio time
nationally
slot,
syndicated
please.
because they were getting calls from all over.
Yeah, like that was.
That's
you
so
know.
fucking cool.
Uh,
They crawled so we could
Podcast.
crawl
Yeah.
slower.
well, the
Stumble.
the fledgling like internet
Mm.
glimpses in this film were really good. Like,
Oh god, every website you see, and they all just look
there's
like
the
what
Brent
single
Spiner
column
ladies website.
with
Oh, it was
awful
terrible.
backgrounds.
I mean, I had that website. You know, it
What
wasn't
did
just
the
about
Brent Spiner
Pokemon.
website?
but
Everybody
not
had
about-
that website.
The thing is too is like professional websites looked like that then.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like a fan website and a fucking studio website. Sometimes the fan websites look better.
Yeah,
like
definitely more animated gifs. But.
mm. That's what it did lack. It did lack that, like, you know, oh, there's a like some animated gubbins that follows your pointer around.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that was like
those
that was like
things.
the later like I feel like in '97 the best you'd have is like a man with a pickaxe. Like this site is under construction.
Yep. Oh, those were weird days.
I
want to
see if that website still exists and if it's gotten redesigned or not.
Which website?
Oh, I hope
The
not.
Spider Femme
I doubt
website.
it.
Dude, I want to be a card-carrying member of Spiner Femmes.
And now we know where all the Tasha Yar data porn has gone because it's just all in Denise Crosby's
Yeah,
basement.
they just send
She
it-
showed so many copies of like just her and Brent.
I did he seems like a good interview. Not only did they just get my naked body perfect.
Spiner's pretty good.
He is.
He's
so
got
cute.
comic timing like anything.
He does.
Oh, yeah, I guess there was more...
I loved the end credits.
Oh, yeah.
No, because it was over.
Oh.
Not for any other reason. Were the end credits actually good?
They had those little...
there was
Oh, yeah, the comedians actually were really funny.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. I
yeah,
did like the end credits.
I kind of want to watch their full act now. Like, that was pretty good. I like the Trek stand-up.
I loved my dude that made the bones joke. Jim is an archaeologist or whatever. Bones. I was like, that's great.
I like it.
And one guy actually did a really good Shatner.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like, he didn't... I mean, like, he got his voice, and he didn't overdo the pausing.
What was it? Fred Travellina? Because he's like a famous
I hate that guy.
impressionist. Yeah, he sucks. I mean, he's fine. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He was on this game show.
Oh,
He
Match
sucks,
Game Hollywood
allegedly.
Squares.
The Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. We only know it because it's on Freevee every now and again. But it's like, it's a weird combination where the first half of the game is the match game, and then halfway through they switch formats and it becomes Hollywood Squares. But it's like a bad version of Hollywood Squares, and it's hosted by Bowser from
Sha-na-na?
Sha-na-na.
Bowser?
That's weird. He was
He was on Match Game
a lot, yeah.
But he's the host of... So the first half is hosted by Gene Rayburn, and then when it switches to Hollywood Squares, Bowser hosts it.
So weird.
That's really weird.
It's a very weird show. But anyway, they would have, some of the... They also got lower tier celebrities, I feel like, because it was usually like...
Lower than Brett Summers and Charles Nelson Riley?
They're heroes.
Shut your mouth. I love them.
I love them too, but like, name a thing they were in.
They were
Match
in
Game.
Match Game.
No, they performed on Broadway a lot.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh,
that's
well,
the
that's
thing I
fine.
was realizing about these old game shows is like there were people whose celebrity status was just them being like it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The celebrities on these shows are celebrities because they're on these shows.
Well, see, actually, I think what it comes down to, I've said this before to people, welcome to 70s Game Show Tangent Corner.
Yay!
The best corner.
Is like, and I think this is why you really can't, I know they have tried to resurrect Match Game and things like that. I feel like part of the reason it doesn't work is because
you
in
can't
the
drink
70s...
on TV anymore.
That too. But in the 70s, you still had like a nightclub circuit in a way we don't now. So a lot of these people knew each other, like, they ran into each other a lot in the field off screen and actually had like a natural camaraderie because of it. Whereas now I feel like the various sectors are more insulated and like...
Yeah, now it's a rush to be the one that tells the joke the fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, again, there's not that same kind of, there's fewer, bigger venues. It's not the same sort of atmosphere.
It's like the Friars Club roast group.
Yeah, which again, they all sort of knew each other. They all worked together. They ran into each other on these circuits that, again, just aren't a thing anymore. And I think that's
Also,
what you
like,
lost.
Also, these days, it's probably frowned upon to be completely blitzed on TV.
I already said that.
Yeah. So.
Jake, you don't listen when I talk.
Well, that's true.
What?
You could always tell when it was an after lunch match game because they were some mix. Like the group's like let's see, Betty's drunk, Charles is high, Brett is. I think her and Jean had a quick shtup between filming.
How dare you? She would never break her marriage vows to Jack Klugman.
She was married to Jack Klugman?
Yeah.
Who?
No shit. Oscar Madison in the TV version of The Odd Couple.
Quincy M.E.
And Quincy M.E.
Oh,
I had no idea.
Wow.
Okay, so Jack was there and they had a quick shtup. Yeah, she would never break her vows to Jack Klugman.
I mean, who would? Nobody would. He's the perfect man.
But anyway, Fred Travellina was
not the perfect man.
A frequent guest on the Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour.
I see.
And his fucking shtick was just to make voices.
So many. Poorly.
Every time he spoke, he had a different voice. It was either Reagan or just
Yeah.
anybody.
It got
The actor?
exhausting real fast.
I could see that, yeah. But if that was him, and Shatner was... Because again, he even sounded like Shatner.
Yeah, I
Like
wouldn't be surprised if it was him that you're thinking.
Speaking of, God, that impersonator.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
he
guy
looked
that
a lot
looked
like him, I
exactly
Yeah, I
like
kept
Shatner.
thinking like, oh, they got Shatner. No, they did not. That is just that man again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shatner wouldn't. It's interesting that how many. So they got most of the. They got interviews with most of the original cast, except for Shatner. And did they?
They even got Grace Lee Whitney, I think.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And Majel, who they only noted as being Chapel,
Chapel,
but they
like,
didn't mention number one, Waxana, computer.
Voice of the computer, yeah,
like
Wife
none of that.
Jean,
Yeah, really.
General awesome lady.
Also,
The best around.
I like the scenes. Like most of these interviews are obviously conducted in a room where you would have an interview, and then the Chase Masterson interviews are just
on the con floor.
on the con floor, and I'm like, wow.
They did not expect to interview her, and then just realized you could do it. She's right there if you want to do it.
And she's really cool, and I don't know, I like Chase.
Although she's a traitor.
Why? Because
Why?
she said Captain Kirk was the best captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even if she doesn't mean it, she has
Why
to say
did
Cisco.
nobody say Cisco? Everyone. Was
It really does prove that DS9 came into its own later, apparently.
Yeah,
It did, yeah.
there was
Well,
no-
but let's be real. I mean, Cisco is great. He's probably my favorite captain, but he's also the only captain that commits war crimes that I know of.
Meh.
So
Listen,
Janeway committed a few.
Delancey had the best response
Oh my
because
God.
he just said it was Captain Q, and that's
Yes.
perfect.
I loved when he was telling that story about the guy that walked up to him and was like, "Are you Q?" And he was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Can you resurrect the dead?" And he was like, "Only people I like." And then the guy was like, "Cool," and walked away. And I was like, "That's great." Also, John Delancey has the biggest eyes I've ever seen in my whole life. While I was watching him in this, his eyes were huge. I
Also,
never noticed that
Jake-
before somehow.
Jake and I just saw the Barbie movie, and Margot
Robbie.
just nothing but eyes, just bigger than her head somehow.
Makes sense.
She is anime.
Robert O'Reilly, though, the most normal his eyes have ever looked.
Yes.
And I've seen him out of makeup before with his eyes still looking...
Gowron.
Oh, wasn't he doing the auction?
He was.
He did a great job.
He did.
But I've seen him...
Kapla, man! I was like, dude.
But there's an episode of I think it's Murder, She Wrote that he pops up in, and so he's not a Klingon, but his eyes are still kind of poppy.
Well, maybe
but
it
here
was
they
the
were
cocaine.
just normal. And it's oh wow, I've never seen his eyes look like eyes.
Yeah, the auction scene was great with the Klingon just whose head was it? Oh, it was
John Colicos.
so yeah. So
I think it was
I think he's a
Colicos.
Colicos. So we're sitting here. We're trying to get Kor's head, Kor's literal head.
Ditto.
That's
What's Kor again? Was Kor the one who was in Deep Space Nine a lot?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
just in Blood Oath, but in...
Yeah.
He's the one that
my
wound up having,
good friend
dementia.
Curzon. It's Jadzia now. My good
My
friend
good friend
Jadzia.
Jadzia.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
They that was because at
Who were
first
the other ones? It was Koloth
Koloth and
Kang.
Kang. I can never remember all these fucking names.
well, Kang is one of the aliens from The Simpsons.
Though earlier... okay.
Kang and Kodos.
Earlier tonight, I was trying to guess the name of a Japanese garment and said Shinzon, which is probably the only time in my entire life that I've actually correctly remembered the name Shinzon. It was
And you
granted
had no idea
the
why.
wrong
In the
format.
wrong context.
Wrong context, but I was like, I don't know, was that like a Shinzon? And I was like, no, wait a minute, a fucking Shinzon. No, that's
We
a
don't
Tom
want
Hardy.
that. We don't
That's
want
a
any of
Tom
that.
Hardy.
We do want a Tom Hardy, just
No.
not a Shinzon.
Nah, I'm all set with him, I think.
A lot of people.
I had a minute.
A lot
Yeah,
of
everybody
people
else can
do.
have him, that's fine. I'll just be over here.
He leaves the nose on.
Okay, Christ.
Remember they put the big... They gave him, Patrick Stewart's nose for...
No, I totally forgot.
Yeah, no.
I want a recut of him as Bane saying that nobody cared about me until I put on the nose or whatever the freaking line is.
I like that.
Yeah, that is quite a nose they put on him, isn't it?
That's the prosthetic I want to bid on. Tom Hardy's
Hey.
Picard nose.
Oh no. Article from 2001, or 2021 rather. Star Trek, Tom Hardy wanted by studio to return as Jean-Luc Picard clone.
Oh no.
But it's from the Daily Express, I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, they're
Yet
a
another
tabloid.
Shinzon.
Bullshit.
Here's one of my favorite notes. Stop asking for Jimmy Doohan's blood.
Yeah, good God!
Jesus Christ.
That is terrifying.
Every couple of years, hey Jimmy, I need your blood.
Don't you feel like at some point Jimmy just shows up with a vial so we can be like, just fucking take it and get away from me?
Go away!
Because you're not going to let some kid just shove a fucking hypodermic in your arm. You're not crazy. But if maybe...
Just send him someone else's blood. They'll never know.
That's true.
Jesus. Yeah, that was...
Whew. I also really kind of wish they followed up with whoever was just sending them junk mail for years and years, every day. A bit of junk mail. For no reason.
I hope...
And I wanted them to go find that person and figure out what the fuck.
And they followed up on it in the sequel in Trekkies 2, and the guy was, they talked to Braga, and he's like, yeah, he's still sending us shit. And, like, he had another stack of stuff.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So apparently...
I hope he's kept some of it.
Yeah, what else did Braga say in that? Oh, okay, here we go. Here's a topic I want to actually talk to you guys about.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a couple kiddies dressed up in Starfleet uniforms. Which Starfleet uniform should we put all of our kiddies in?
What would I want to see my cat in before they murder the fuck out of me?
While they're murdering the fuck out of you.
Okay, so Barnabas is black. So we don't want, like, anything that has too much black, so we just kind of
Yeah, it would just look like a floating, color panel.
Yeah, so I think
for
him,
whatever division.
I think probably the best bet for him would be an Enterprise one, because it's all blue.
A little kitty jumpsuit. That's kind of cute.
Hades is gray, so not...
TMP?
No, no one in TMP.
Don't put cats in that.
Don't put anyone in that.
Well, no Deep Space Nine, because it would be...
Yeah, the gray shoulder era, none of that, because again, it would kind of blend.
You could do like a Cardassian. They're gray.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking outside of Starfleet uniforms. That's true.
Well, now you did it. Both your cats are going to be dressed as Cardassians.
I think our cats are going to be dressed as
TOS Romulans.
Frank Gorshin and the other one.
Because they're black and
See,
white.
I was going to say
I get it.
Dimitri and a TNG Romulan with the ridiculous shoulders.
Oh, God.
That would annoy him to no end. My existing annoys him to no end sometimes. So.
Aw, good kid.
So Porpoise.
Porpoise?
Sorry,
Hades.
I call Hades. So Hades.
Yeah, no one calls cats by their actual names. So.
The logic behind it, though, because that's really weird.
That's
is
a stretch.
Hades Corpus somehow became Hades
Porpoise.
Porpoise, which became Porpoise.
So Chris just calls him Porpoise.
So Porpoise. Maybe I think the original movie era, the red with the little turtleneck. Especially because it's kind of a fuzzy head, so it'll look funny.
I'm liking the uniforms that, like, was it Corby, Chapel's fiance from Little Girls Are Made Of?
Oh, yeah.
Those kind of, like, half-colored uniforms that are, like, cut down the middle. I like those, because I feel like having a cat in kind of a party-colored uniform would be cute.
That's true. And then
looks like a little jester.
And then they kill us.
Yes.
Kill us dead.
Yeah, I did love because they showed Bones, Rip Bones. I mean, Rip any of the cats from this movie are probably dead.
That's true. Yeah, it's been a while.
But in Trekkies 2, there was a moment. I don't know. At the end of this, there was a moment that was Rip Bones.
Yeah.
Bones.
Bones the cat who loved to dress up in uniforms, and I think it was the same kid who has like several more cats, and they all still love being dressed up in things.
Mm-hmm. Who are these people?
And their favorite is DeForest Kelley, which is just fitting because DeForest Kelley notoriously loved animals.
There we go.
I love it.
Who are these people that find cats willing to wear things?
I mean, I'm guessing...
Just gonna start when they're young.
Yeah, exactly. They probably just started putting them in stuff when they were kittens.
Yeah.
It was the cat just like, yep, this is what life is.
And also, to be fair, they never actually said to the cat, hey, cat, do you love this? And the cats were like, yeah!
Well, but they don't...
The cats will tolerate it.
The cats don't
It's
scratch
different.
your face off.
Yeah, ours would, like, flop around until we took them off. If we even managed to get them on.
That is probably true, yes.
Whereas Bones was definitely just like, okay,
I'm
here.
Cats. Okay.
I had this cat, or it wasn't my cat, it was my roommate's cat, but he was a rambunctious cat. He was a sweet cat, but he bounced around the house a lot.
Was it Rim the three-legged cat?
Yes.
Oh, he was so
Rim
good.
Rim?
Yes.
That's wonderful.
What the fuck is that? Why is it Rim
No,
Rim?
that's just what he was called.
It's a reference to something,
I think it might be, but I don't know. He was a good boy. But anyway, he one time someone gave us a harness and like, oh, you could take Rim for walks. And
Yeah, good luck.
and we put the harness on him and like he hated it, but he just like he had only one front leg. He had just like a little nub for one of his front legs.
Aww.
So he couldn't, like, he could easily slip out of the harness because, you know, it wasn't being held on by much. But anytime we'd put the harness on, he would, like, it was like the restraining bolt on the droids in Star Wars. Like, he would just, like, whatever rambunctious thing he was doing, he would just stop and just, like, lay down peacefully. So it became, like, the dunce cap, the timeout chair was put the harness on him.
Yeah, delightful. Oh, you got to give one of the gyms a not Harkonnen. Fuck the hunty men.
Hirogen.
The Hirogen. Give him a little Hirogen helmet.
Harkonnens. Close.
There's an H.
Well, there was also whatever species Jatrell was sounded very Harkonnen. I don't remember, but I don't remember what that is either.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Why doesn't Taco Bell still sell those Star Trek glasses? Why don't any fast food stores sell cool things anymore?
They probably were not I mean, they probably didn't. Well,
wasn't there, I'm not even kidding about this, but wasn't there actually a somewhat infamous situation at some point where one of those promotional cup lines had to be recalled because the paint was poison or something?
Oh, no!
I think that probably happened a lot.
But I feel like there was one in particular, like, infamous case, and that might have kind of put the kibosh on that for a bit.
I'm just thinking of, it was either McDonald's or Burger King that sold the Batman Forever, I think, like glasses that you could just get.
Weren't they sort of like relief, like 3D
yeah,
relief?
they were like
That
shaped.
sounds familiar.
And I have 2 of them in my parents' home.
oh my god.
And they're magical.
Yeah.
I had goblets from Lord of the Rings that had like a LED at the bottom that you could light up.
Also, just an aside, Ames, don't listen. Jake, I think you're in trouble.
I used the words Batman Forever.
She brought up Batman instead of us.
Oh, shit.
So I think she's been replaced by a pod person.
You might be right.
Odd people.
Yeah, so you might need to deal with that.
Or
later.
It means that the Batman, the freeze on Batman related topics has been lifted, and we no longer have to cool off.
I knew it was coming, but
Damn it.
But yes, this might be the first time you've brought up Batman unbidden.
I was bringing up mugs.
Fair.
But yeah, I agree. I think fast food, because they weren't like giveaways. You had to
No.
pay
You
for
had to
it.
pay for
Yeah,
stuff like
But
that.
like promotional items
Glassware
like
was
that,
a big thing in the 90s.
not just
I just
glassware,
kind
but
of-
like other, like all kinds of things like
Like
that.
the mini Beanie Babies. I
Bro,
have a
the
million of those
teeny
things.
beanies. I had them all.
I made sure to get all the cat ones.
I got them all.
Yeah.
And then
So
you put them
someday
next to
those-
the big ones, and it's funny.
With any luck, that shit'll be worth something someday, like they always said.
Never
Well,
will.
I know, but like, wouldn't it be great if
You have a better chance of a beanie being worth something than an NFT.
Apparently, Carl's Jr. is the choice fast food restaurant of Klingons.
That scene was so gross and so unnecessary.
Yes.
They
But-
clearly said to them, eat like Klingons, and they did it with gusto.
But I did like when Denise asked the guy,
Oh, yeah.
have you ever served a Klingon before? And he's like, yes.
They have the convention here every year.
I like how excited you sounded. That guy was more like, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we've done it. Yeah. All the
They're-
fucking,
they're-
yeah. These people always dress like this and they come here every Tuesday. Yeah.
I know their orders by heart.
And they destroyed
In
the dining
Klingon.
room.
I like that we had some, sorry, I'm such an asshole. I like that we had some Duras sisters with screen accurate titty shelves.
Mhm.
Good.
That was good.
What was with that one dude who was a double admiral?
What?
I think I already explained to you.
The guy who his wife had the
He
dog.
like
and
went to the
thing.
grocery store.
Oh,
and-
that guy.
Oh, the guy that said he would have his ears.
Yeah, he had 2 of the little admirals things. It's like, I think you only wear one of those, buddy.
Maybe,
his eyes-
maybe
and-
he's a super admiral.
Is he Commander Starfleet?
He might be Commander Starfleet.
As I pointed out, that's because when he double teams his wife with another admiral, that's double admiraling. And
Oh my.
Dear.
Well, speaking of admiraling, so
What?
we learned
Well.
that jury duty lady. I can't
Okay.
remember her name.
and something.
Oh yeah, you told
Barbara.
us. It was so
Barbara
funny when
Adams.
she popped up
Yeah,
because you
sure.
told us about her ages
Yeah.
ago.
So in this film, in 1997, she's a commander
Mm.
in the Star
Federation Alliance.
and like she works at Sir Speedy, and her coworkers call her commander, and it's all very nice.
I prefer commander to girlfriend too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's just
Yeah,
You
don't
know.
call anyone
I think it'd be
girlfriend. That's
cool
not
if
nice.
people called you Commander. That's cool.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I think it's pretty cool if someone calls you girlfriend. I like that. That's what you were going to say.
Either
Jake's
one.
like, I'd love to be called girlfriend.
Call me anything. Call me maybe. I don't know.
Nice.
Nah.
But in the second film, we catch back up with her. She's still working at I think maybe a different Sir Speedy, but she's still in the printing industry. But of note, she is. I noticed, she's wearing 5 pips. 5.
Oh yeah, she introduced
5
herself as Fleet Admiral.
5 nickel sized
gigantic
pips.
fucking pips.
Yeah, but apparently, so in 7 years, she went from commander all the way to 5 pip fleet admiral.
Well, she'd been in the movie by then, so she was famous.
That's true. I guess so.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah,
The,
and then
the Federation Alliance is desperate for officers.
they were asking everybody. They also caught back up with Gabriel, and apparently, like, lots of people just started calling him and asking him to do the cutoff thing, the phone interruption thing, which is like, what, rude for one thing. But then just tons of people kept writing him asking his sexual orientation. It's like, rude.
People are weird.
People are weird.
Yeah, the second movie was a little odd because he was interviewed with his wife because he was a married adult at this time.
Tell me more about this wife.
She seemed normal.
She seemed like the kind of person who would be married to him, I guess.
She seemed like she liked Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. But then, like, there was a scene where it's like people always would ask, would email questioning my sexual orientation, and let me tell you, and very like immature adolescence. Like, even though he's in his 20s, he's still like, I have sex with a girl. Very uncomfortable.
Thank God they left that in.
Yeah.
He was, 21 or so at the time it would have been.
Oh, but I did. Oh,
Do guys ever really stop high-fiving each other about sex?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. I just wanted
I
to
don't
clear
think
it up.
I've ever high-fived
think-
a
yeah.
guy over sex.
Wow.
I have to say, though, but I said earlier that there was a funny moment. The actual funniest moment of this film was when they were at that barbecue and the guy...
Yes.
Oh, yeah. God.
and the guy was like, we got lots of people. This year there was even a girl.
Oh, yeah.
God, is he the guy that they follow around in the second movie who's making that film with the horses?
Making a horrible fanfic with
Oh my god.
horses.
God,
and-
and the whole section about fan fiction, and it was like, again, focusing just mostly on the sexual stuff.
Yeah.
There's plenty of non-sexual fanfic.
I
You could
wish-
have talked about that too.
In the second film, they did spend some more time with the Filk people. I feel like this one really
I like the Filk
only
people.
had
They
the
were cool.
one person doing the Filk.
Well, they didn't seem to know what it was till he mentioned it
Yeah.
either, so maybe that's why.
But in the next one, there's like there's a whole Filk scene, and some of it's not bad. Also, the second film spends time with apparently Sacramento has a Star Trek just a Star Trek music scene where rock band. There's multiple Star Trek themed rock bands.
Fair enough.
Of various quality.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
clear that Warp 11 is the
there was
best
one that was good, and then there was a bunch that were, I don't know, I guess
the sound quality was terrible.
it's not my genre, but the Klingon deathcore metal band might be good for that genre. I don't know.
If you really...
They made noise. They were successful at making noise.
If you're a real fan, I'm going to gatekeep this a little, and you're making a Klingon group, you gotta do opera.
Oh, yeah. There was also... There are way too many, terrible iterations or, adaptations or, director's visions for Romeo and Juliet out there.
Mm-hmm.
God, there was one that did it oh no, one's a Democrat, one's a Republican, and I'm like, oh,
my
fucking God, let them die.
Fuck you.
Kill them now. But there was one group that did it as the Let That Be Your Last Battlefield people, and I'm like, that works.
That's clever.
You did it.
I'll give you
You
that.
found it. Yeah, and there was some point in watching the second one that I just wrote down, poor Denise. How much time did she have to sink into talking with these people, and then they only use one line in the documentary?
That's what happens when you leave a really popular show.
Yeah, because it was just clear she's entering some guy's bedroom, and he's showing
Oh,
her.
no.
He's showing her his rows and rows of figures
Oh my
and stuff.
god! Yeah, in the second movie, she meets this guy who's converted his apartment, like, to just be like completely.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
He's like completely redone. Like, it's very impressive. Like, he's done
his transporter pad looked pretty good.
Yeah, he's converted his bedroom, and like.
Yeah, it used to be his bedroom.
But he is the saddest man. It's like it's like comically sad because like he's standing there with Denise and he's showing her. He's like, oh, this is the first thing I made, and it's like a little console. It's like an acoudogram, and he's like, oh, this is the first thing I made. Yeah, my wife left me, and I was really bored, and I didn't have anything to do, so I made this. And she's like, where do you sleep in here? He's like, oh, I sleep on the floor because I converted the bedroom area into the transporter pad, so I just sleep on the floor now. Oh, and this is the bathroom where you can sit and contemplate suicide on the toilet. And right
Did he actually say
he
that?
actually said that.
Oh my god!
And then right next to the toilet, like where if you were looking down to your right as you're contemplating suicide, is the casualty reports that he's like made an acoudogram of casualty reports to have next to you.
Why would you
as you're shitting?
leave that in your documentary?
That's a good question.
That man clearly needs help.
because you hate the people you're talking about.
Like,
Apparently,
you should have like cut out that part at least, and then been like, Fred or whatever his name was, let's get you to talk to somebody. Let Jesus Christ start writing letters to Jimmy. No, he passed away by then, I think.
Yeah.
Don't ask for his blood.
Start writing letters to Connor Trenier.
Nice. I'll write letters to Connor.
Who's that?
He Trip
Trip.
from
Trip.
Enterprise.
Oh, right.
But then I saw on Memory Alpha that he ended up selling that apartment for a pretty decent profit.
Okay, so maybe he's better now, hopefully.
We'll see.
I hope things worked out for him, because that makes me deeply sad.
That's really sad.
Especially leaving that in your fucking documentary. Don't do that to that man.
No, it's fine.
Unless it means somebody saw it and went, we should help that man.
Nope, no one saw that and thought we should help that man.
Oh.
This did make me feel like we are way more normal than I used to think. I used to think, wow, what nerds we are having this podcast. And now I'm like, well, at least I've seen a man naked.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, one of the conversations they have is like, at what point is it too far? At what point are Trekkies just no? And some people are like, yeah, they're always great. And sometimes I'm like, no, there's if you're doing it to the detriment of yourself and others, like Shatner says, get a life.
Yeah, like, I'd say, like, Apartment Guy is an example, but he was clearly working through a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he worked through it.
People who ask
Brent's-
for Jimmy Doohan's blood.
Yeah, that's too much. The Brent Spiner woman was a little scary.
Briner Femme.
The Briner Femme there.
Spiner Femme.
Spiner Femme. What did I say?
You
Briner.
combined
God damn
Brent
it.
and Spiner.
Son of a bitch, Caitlin. Sorry,
Spiner
guys.
Femme. Spiner Femme. Gonna stalk him. Fuck
Because
it.
I can.
I can't actually see his house from here, but sometimes I come out here and look at the hillside that he lives on the other side of, and there was a good joke. John Billingsley made a good joke about that in the second movie. Where
These
he's like,
flocks.
yeah,
Yes.
where he was like, yes, I sometimes wonder if there's Billingsley femmes out there that stand on their balcony and look towards my house.
Sorry, flocks.
I want John Billingsley to bring me hot cocoa and read me stories. I don't think I want to fuck him.
Yeah, but there was these Australian women that were really into Trip.
So, like, way too into
It's
Trip.
like,
And they asked the daughter of this woman, like the 12, 13-year-old daughter or so, what do you think of your mom's, what did she call it, her toy boy wall?
Mm-hmm.
She just has pictures of mostly Connor Trenier on this toy boy wall. And the daughter's like, yeah, it's something she does. And they bring this up to Connor Trenier because, there's people who have like his face as a tattoo on their back. And he's like, oh, who'd have thunk? Run, Connor.
Did you? Come on, man. This was like the 5th series. You had to know what you were getting yourself into when you took this job.
Yeah. You're clearly the pretty one. Other than maybe T'Pol.
Maybe that's what he hadn't been expecting. He didn't realize there were quite so many women into Star Trek.
Oh, that's an interesting point, yeah.
It was kind of the stereotype even then was still mostly just sweaty boys.
Yeah.
So he's just like,
Being
oh, God,
there's T'Pol again!
And yeah, I mean, as far as, he's also, I think, again, I haven't seen Enterprise in a while, but I do feel like he's the guy you see in his underwear the most.
He's in his underwear a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Didn't somebody have like a a song about...
Oh, God, the song was so uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Talking about the Filk song?
No, this is a different uncomfortable song.
Yeah, this isn't Trekkies 2.
'Cause that
I think it
song
was the
was really
same woman,
uncomfortable.
wasn't it?
It might have been.
Yeah, but it's like, it was to the tune of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh,
and it's
that's
like,
right.
something, something, little trip, how I love it when you strip.
No!
Oh,
And the rest gets worse.
I'm impressed that he still talks about Star Trek, considering
He has a
that.
podcast.
I know. Him
He
and
and Dominic
Englishman,
Keating.
yeah.
They seem delightful.
yeah. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get, there's nothing wrong with liking what you like, but you don't need to tell everyone.
Boundaries. Create boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, like, some of it you keep to yourself.
I still can't believe that dude who was riding down the street in his fucking Pike mobile.
It looked good.
Yeah, it looked great, but you don't fucking
didn't
ride
use-
around the street.
he didn't
man.
use
Why
the
not?
beeps
I mean, it
consistently.
looked like it was cold. He was...
I said, I bet he's warm in there.
Yeah, like, that was like snow on the ground. He looked like he was in Buffalo or something, and he's just tooling around. He's probably got a heater in there.
Yeah, I say a lot of people watching him were probably just like, they probably didn't realize it was a Star Trek thing. They were just like, well, that's odd, but okay. Looks warm.
The scene of him in Radio Shack, though,
Oh,
where
God,
like,
that poor clerk.
I don't feel bad for the clerk. I feel bad for the guy. I feel like the clerk was like laughing at him the whole time.
the clerk was
And he was
well,
being
I
a
don't know.
turd.
I think the clerk. I guess there's two kinds of people that get jobs at Radio Shack. There's people that get jobs at Radio Shack because they're really into like electronics and are excited about.
And there's people who get a job at Radio Shack because they're hiring.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like the guy that our hero had spoken to on the phone earlier, who he was trying to reach, was the former, and like had set aside components and knew what he was talking about. And then the guy that was there at the store when he was there was just somebody who just was
Knew how
like
to use a cash
wanted
register.
Well,
a paying job,
And also was like, had probably just was going to work that day. And then his manager was like, oh, by the way, a camera crew is going to be showing up for a documentary. What?
Yeah, how do you plan these kinds
so
of
if
things?
you could just make sure to wear a tie that day. What?
Not even a tie. Pants. Wear pants that day.
And
it's
he's like-
Radio Shack. They always wear a tie and pants.
Do they always
Really?
wear a tie at Radio
At
Shack?
Radio Shack? Oh yeah,
Really?
Okay.
That's a
They
tie
do?
place?
yeah.
See,
Their
I
uniform.
only really
I feel
I feel like you're
remember...
lying.
I
I've
feel
never
like
seen
I feel
anybody.
like
I feel like they all wear polos.
I feel like in later years they switched. To
I'd say,
polos.
I only ever went in the latter days, like, to get batteries or something.
But I
and
do
it was a
remember
polo.
them being like
Okay.
like a t-shirt,
So
like a beige button-down shirt, necktie, name badge.
Beige button down.
Okay, so the tie wasn't special that day, but you could tell the poor bastard was just... He kept looking directly at the camera, like, so uncomfortable. It was like he did not want to be involved with this.
Which in turn made me extremely uncomfortable. I was like, ugh, hate this. When is this part gonna end?
But I miss fucking Radio Shack. I mean, I miss sticking my dick in Radio Shack.
That's what I thought you meant, yeah.
What's going on?
Oh,
Wordplay of the highest caliber.
was it? Certainly of a caliber.
There we
Okay.
go.
Which would you guys prefer to visit? The birthplace of Captain Kirk in Iowa or Vulcan, Alberta?
Which one had the
Pass.
Enterprise?
I think they both did.
Alberta had the Enterprise. Right?
I'd rather go to Alberta.
I'd also just rather go to Alberta any day. It's
Yeah,
on my.
sure.
It's on
Yeah,
my.
Iowa seems like a
Crossing
shitty place.
Canada is one of my
Yeah,
bucket list.
Also,
items.
like, how down must they be once it came out that Kirk actually was born in space?
that bastard.
Neither? Like, I'd love to see parts of Canada, but Vulcan looks pretty isolated. Like, I want to see cities, not little...
Hours and hours
towns.
of driving through nothing.
Yeah. But, gun to my head, I'd rather go to the middle of nowhere Canada than the middle of nowhere Iowa. So, I guess Vulcan wins by default.
Yay.
Iowa. Place so terrible and boring, you literally have to work in space.
Yeah, I wrote down, good job, Iowa. You found one thing to draw people to you.
There is the Mitchell Corn Palace.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that actually sounds right up Ames' alley.
The Mitchell Corn Palace is basically what it sounds like. It's a structure made of corn.
No.
It's like, I haven't been there.
But is there a maze in the palace?
I do love
I don't
a
know.
corn
It's not like stalks of corn. It's like imagine you took kernels of corn and made a mosaic. I'll find a picture.
Nice.
Obama spoke there once.
Oh, wow.
Fair enough.
It's famous.
I feel like we may have talked about this before, but isn't it like, as far as the original group of captains go, like the only one not from the middle of fucking nowhere America is Cisco, because he's from...
New Orleans.
Oh, it's not Iowa.
Apparently
It's South Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
It's Mitchell, South Dakota.
Well, that's not Iowa
So it
at
doesn't
all.
even- but it doesn't even have Iowa. So
It doesn't even
So Iowa doesn't even
so,
have that.
so fuck you, Iowa. But here's what the Mitchell Corn Palace in South Dakota
Holy
looks
shit,
like.
it's huge.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
Well, it's a-
Okay,
Jiminy
I-
fuck me.
I would go to that.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
Plus, you could also see Mount Rushmore, or is that in North Dakota?
That's in South Dakota.
There we go. There's two things in
Yeah.
South Dakota.
So
Something
South
I also
more
Dakota-
have
things.
the Black Hills.
Has it way over Iowa.
That's 3 more things than Iowa
The
has.
best thing Iowa has is a fucking caucus.
Oh, we haven't brought up at all the little video we watched before starting the recording.
Oh yeah, our second.
And I'm sure we've
forward.
we've linked to it on Facebook and put it on YouTube and linked it below. Click here for the video that was very adorable. What was it, Jake? What is this link that we're clicking?
Oh, it is one of the lost episodes of Star Trek. The Star Trek Adventure.
Good title.
Home movie experience from Universal Studios Orlando, circa 1996-ish, maybe, or maybe earlier than that. I don't even know.
You seemed very small.
Yeah, it's probably more like 94. I'm gonna say 94 or 95. It's probably 9. I think.
You think 9?
I look about
tiny.
9. I think, but I could be younger. I don't know. I'm gonna say that. Say circa 95.
See, seeing you guys in that video, it was honestly like a breath of fresh air after this Trekkies thing, because I know you to be a fairly normal, well-adjusted human that happens to have, like, a fandom for Star Trek, you know?
Fanwag.
Yeah, but that's fine, you know?
So tell us some of the behind the scenes, because Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
they could have helped you guys out with the editing.
So this was an attraction at Universal Orlando back in the 90s. And it was not like included with your park admission. You had to pay extra for it. And you would go to this place in the park, pay the money, and
Park place, we call it.
and you were basically given like 30 seconds of like, okay, here's what you're gonna do.
Memorize these lines.
No, there was no memorization. It was
Whoa.
all cue cards.
Oh,
That's why I fucked up the line so much.
because you're illiterate.
Because I had an undiagnosed vision problem for the first 25 years of my life.
Oh, was your vision already bad that age?
Boo-hoo!
You know, when Jake first got glasses, it was very funny because he walks up to me. I found you on the street. You were walking to my apartment, and you're like, "I can see." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what glasses do." Did you know there's a man in the moon? Yes, Jake. Everyone who can see the man in the moon.
Well, no, it was that I knew that there was a man in the moon. I just had never seen the man in the moon, and I didn't really understand.
You didn't know you could see it from
I
Earth.
thought I knew you could see it from like photos of the moon, but I didn't know you could like look at the moon and see the craters because it was always just a white thing in the sky.
How did it take you 25 years to realize you couldn't see?
I don't know.
How are you passing like the eye exam for driver's licenses?
You know, it's funny when I first got my learner's permit.
memorized
and
it
I
beforehand.
had to, like, you had to do an eye exam. I remember the man saying, "Well, you just barely got it, but you should probably go have your eyes examined because you might need glasses." And I was like, "All right, it's fine."
All of your doctors were terrible.
I only ever remember having eye exams in school.
And they
Oh,
never
yeah, me
told
too,
you what the
really.
results were?
Yeah, I thought that was the whole
Apparently,
point.
apparently like my vision is not bad enough to like set off alarms in a
I don't know.
Elementary school nurse's office.
Sounds to me like you were seeing the world in SD and then suddenly it was HD.
Yeah, but
like,
that's basically it. It was funny, when I was in high school, I had a friend who wore glasses, and I put on his glasses, not my prescription, just some other person's glasses, and I put them on as like a joke, and I'm like, I need glasses.
And then still
Wait a
nothing
minute.
for 10 years.
And then still took another 10 years
I mean,
before I actually
I
got
get
glasses.
that, though. It's like,
But-
I should get around to that.
But anyway.
So yeah, Tiny Jake.
Yeah, actually,
Oh,
what
little
inspired
tiny
me
Jake.
was you, as I used to always have to like ask the people that I was with to read, like if there was a menu board above like a counter, that I'd have to ask somebody to read it to me. But anyway, what was I saying?
And that's why you flubbed most of your lines.
Well, also I was just a dumb child,
True.
and mostly illiterate apparently. Yeah, so and I remember that they really wanted it to be the parents. So I was there with my
Which seems stupid because this seems like such a kid attraction.
Yeah,
Well,
but again, the thing is it's not that fun to do because
But then you get the video,
you
at,
get
the
the video
end,
at the end.
and you want to give that video to your kid.
But the kids are supposed to be playing the two like cadets in the front that are goofing around. Like those are the parts that they have for the kids.
well, your mom fucking nailed it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she
your
was
mom is
way better
adorable
than I
in
would have
this.
been. Yeah, so we were there at the park with my friend Mike, who was a kid I went to school with who had moved to Florida. So we met up with him at
Orlando.
At Universal Studios. Yeah, so he was also in the thing, and they wanted me and him to be the kids, and then my mom and dad. But I insisted
Good.
that I had
Good
to,
on you.
that I had to be the Vulcan, and I would not. And like
You already had the ears.
and my parents were like, no, he's gonna be the Vulcan. That's just how it's gonna be. And they're like, oh, okay.
It's funny because there's like other videos that are like on the internet that you can watch other people who've uploaded their versions. And another one we saw was the two kids as captain and science officer, and the parents as the goofballs at the between Chekhov and Sulu.
That's really funny.
But those kids seemed maybe a little older or more smart.
Their editing was somehow even worse.
More smart. Yeah, the editing of that one.
Like seriously, it's like they don't even bother. It's like they say go, and then the kid reads the lines, and then they don't bother like cutting the film at all.
That's the thing is that you're literally in a blue screen room.
Mm-hmm.
You're standing on marks, and
Those poor men.
Grouchy.
you don't get to read the lines ahead of time. You get one take. They hold up the cue card. You cannot see.
No, you could not see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not playing like the video or the audio.
Oh, so it's like nod your head
It's
now.
like, okay, it's like,
now
okay.
look at where Spock should be and nod your
All
head.
right, now point forward and laugh. And like you just quickly record. The whole recording process probably took 20 minutes
Not bad.
to like.
They probably had it down to a science by that
Yeah,
point.
so it's just like they're probably getting they're probably trying to do 30 of these a day, so they're just banging them out, and you're just like hitting the beats. It's just do this thing, point here, point there. We're gonna we put a mark on the wall. Look at that mark. You're actually looking at McCoy. If you look at that mark.
I'm always actually looking at McCoy.
And then it was like, and then we came back at the end of the day and picked up the tape. So,
God, they had to edit those within a few hours, like Adobe Premiere.
well, again, I'm pretty sure whatever technology they were using,
Universal.
because it was always the same video. I bet you it was mostly automated. Like
True,
I'm sure it
true.
wasn't like I'm sure these guys that were running because they were just like high school kids that were running the thing. So I don't think it was.
I mean, the editing was probably handed off to. I was thinking that even automated and easier then is still probably needlessly complicated.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to get like I'd love to get the original masters.
Oh my god.
Of the video from it so that we could get like HD.
I bet that's online.
Okay, but like, could we tape it? Could we tape it? And
That
be in
would,
it?
like I said,
Wouldn't that be sick as hell?
Maybe we could just do it. Maybe I could just take that video that I have and like
Oh my god, Jake.
rotoscope out my former self.
I'm so excited.
No, keep little Jake. Also be the captain, Jake.
I'll wear my fucking my Chekhov outfit. Yeah, that's all I got. Oh my god.
Yeah, maybe I can bring it into like After Effects
That would be
and
so fun.
make a blank version.
Yeah, I bet you they must have that somewhere. Where you
I don't
can
know. I
find
mean,
it.
this attraction closed down.
Yeah, but it's astounding what people somehow kept and put online.
Yeah, but again, I bet you'll find lots of videos of people doing it. Maybe you could write to like Paramount. I don't even know who would have it. The theme park.
That's
Why did Universal have this?
There's a theme park.
just a deal.
Yeah, and obviously DeForest Kelley was the only one who was taking it at all seriously, and he looked great.
He did.
Yeah, no, he was genuinely trying. Although again, like I said, it's funny because the line, you give Chekhov the con, but then clearly Bones is in charge.
Yeah, because you don't leave Chekhov in charge.
Yeah, what's Chekhov gonna do?
Chekhov in charge. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
No.
It's also clear that whoever was doing this did not know anything about Star Trek, because as the Vulcan science officer,
Oh yeah.
you're giggling and jumping around, and they you get off the transporter and for some reason had to dust yourself off.
Yeah, that was
What was that direction?
Because that was just what they told you to do.
That's stupid.
It was supposed to be funny, maybe?
All right, well, we'll do it better. Maybe we can put some... Let's cut out the mouths of the Klingons and put in new dialogue. Let's just totally rewrite this. Let's just get fucking nuts.
Let's
get our actor friends together. Make them dress as Klingons.
Let's make our own instead of trying.
Well, take a look at this spaceship that I rendered.
Beautiful.
It's in my new movie.
Wow.
Thanks. It's gonna be a big deal someday.
Yeah, I'm shocked that this isn't a thing anymore. It does seem like a thing that people
like an updated thing with
Well, there was actually, I forget what platform it was on, but there was a game that was released for, I think, the PlayStation? No, I think it was for the Kinect, so it must have been Xbox, where, they digitally removed actors from scenes, and then you could reenact them and put yourself in. It was supposed to be like a party game, but, you
Also,
had to own a Kinect.
How has Lower Decks not parodied this?
Oh, they will.
Thing
Give
yet?
them time.
Oh, wow. They might have... For all I know, it's somewhere. It's a reference that no one else has gotten yet. Because they do shit like that.
Neat.
I guess I'm glad that I finally saw this, because I've always kind of wanted to see it, and I was so, I just found it so upsetting that I now am not blaming myself for not seeing it sooner. I just was...
Yeah, I'd recommend the second one, too. The second one is a little...
How long is it?
An hour and a half.
Does it feel like 6 hours?
It does still feel long.
It feels pretty long.
Okay.
Yeah, especially since they show each band play a couple of songs.
They spend a long time, because a lot of that movie is going to cons in other countries and seeing how other countries do.
Yeah, and there's a lot that you have to read the
I don't mind subtitles.
Translations.
That's okay. But
well, if you're Jake and you need someone to read for
based on Trekkies, I won't be watching Trekkies 2. But I'm glad that you guys did, so I don't have to. And I'm glad we watched this, so I can say that I did.
Oh, good. There were more kitties, so that was a delight.
Anything else? See, Ames is checking her notes over once more.
Checking.
Like Santa.
Not much left.
You better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out. You better watch out.
Fucking watch out.
That Gritty meme.
Yeah.
Oh, Gritty.
We love Gritty.
My hero.
He's the best. Yeah. Awful people, probably.
I mean, Gritty's great, but he's not the friggin' rude bear. The Bruins bear that was
the rude bear, yes. Not bear. Blades. Blades everyone loves.
Blades is fine, whatever.
We love Blades.
But the asshole bear was pretty good.
I loved his commercials. They were all great.
I don't know Asshole Bear, but I feel like a Boston mascot should be.
He just looked like a regular bear.
Yeah, it was just like a man in an actual bear suit.
He
looked like a real bear.
And,
that was the point.
And he would just do shitty things to people. And
again, that sounds very Boston, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think he took it too far at some point. And
yeah,
they stopped doing
it.
It was like, oh, that's a bit much.
Okay, that was a slur.
Yeah, I think there was a good one where it was him taking tickets for people getting into the garden, and people in I'm just say Devils jerseys, because why not? Because fuck the Devils. They come up, the bear's standing there looking at them, and the next thing you see is them getting launched out the building.
I was at a game, and there was a great bit that they did where
I lost track why we're talking about the bear, but okay.
I don't know, Gritty came up,
so
we're talking about mascots. So they made it, the regular Bruins announcer comes on and says, and we're doing a surprise upgrade for 2 fans. We'll get glass, between the glass seats, in the very front row seats. And if you are sitting in row, section 3 with row 1, and then they zoom the camera up on a section of the thing, and it was a game against the Canadians, and the two.
Boston hates the Habs.
Our number one rival at the time.
We play them.
I don't think we really give a shit about them anymore because they suck real bad. But at the time, they were a top rival, and the two people that won the free seat upgrades were both decked out in Habs gear, Canadians gear, and so the whole stadium is just
boo,
boo, boo. And, like, these guys are really, they're really excited. And I'm like, and I'm finding it hilarious. I'm like, of course fucking Habs fans won this friggin' thing. And then, like, the bear comes to escort them to their seats. And they do this whole thing where they're following the people.
How do you plan something like that?
They're following the people with the camera, like, down the seats, because they were up in, like, the nosebleed. So he's bringing them down the stairs all the way to the ground floor. And then he opens the door for them. And then they walk through the door. And then the camera cuts to them outside the garden. It's like... And the door shuts behind them and it locks. And then, of course, the whole crowd goes, fuck those guys.
That's a good bit.
It was a great bit.
Bringing it back to Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, Star Trek. Go Bruins.
Do Parisi Squares teams have mascots?
No.
There's
no fun in the
Somebody
future.
get that guy on the phone and ask him.
Actually, no, is all mascots are now Gritty, because it turns out Gritty's just a tribble. Just, one day in Philadelphia, they are like, what? Guys, we haven't been in the stadium in a few months. Why are we getting readings? It's really hot in there. Doors open, Gritties come pouring out. There's one pink one because his art director was colorblind.
I want to know who the mascot of the Niners is.
Ooh.
Pup? Is it just Pup?
We don't know what Pup looks like.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a Cardassian vole.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Bitey the vole.
I'll leave us with this, and I wrote this down. I'll read it verbatim. God, it's depressing that people are talking about the better future in Star Trek and how Star Trek's going to make us a better place. And meanwhile, here it is 25 years later that this was filmed, and people are back wanting to be Nazis again.
Who said that?
I did.
In
these notes.
I mean,
I thought you meant like you were quoting verbatim something.
I'm quoting me.
It felt like something Walter Koenig would have said,
Here's the thing, though, when you think about it, and this is the problem with wanting a Star Trek future. It's easy to forget. Star Trek gets to an optimistic future by barely surviving the Third World War.
That's
right. True. As Pike shows us in one of the Strange New Worlds episodes.
Yeah.
It's like, look what happened to Earth. Don't be like us. Don't do... No, this was last season.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
This was the premiere episode.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, so it was.
Literally the pilot.
I can't remember things, guys. I have no memory.
So yeah, really, we're well on our way.
Hooray!
Just,
Star
and here's the
Trek.
thing. We all moved to Bozeman now because we know it is untouched by the war.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, everyone seems to be living in poverty.
But they're alive.
Barely.
I'm just saying, it means they weren't exploded by the war.
I'm going to Vulcan, Alberta. Thank you very much.
Also, just get the fuck out of there before the Borg show up and level half the place.
Fuck. Okay, so yes, you move there for a bit. April 2063 rolls around, and you just go like, I'm going on vacation for a while. Vacation? It's the middle of the Armageddon. I'll be fine.
I have to go check out this corn thing in South Dakota.
Imagine people still went on vacations.
I will say, you remind me with corn.
Good, I'm glad.
To be fair to our Iowa listener.
Yeah, fuck you.
Wow.
I looked up things to do in Iowa.
Yes!
And the number one thing... The Field of Dreams movie site.
Oh, pass.
So go see a
pass.
Baseball diamond with some corn around it.
No. Make me.
No.
Baseball's
like,
boring. Sorry, Ben.
Iowa doesn't even
Ben?
have a baseball
Oh, Ben.
team.
I was like,
The closest thing they have to a sports franchise is the film set from Field of Dreams.
They also have one of the world's largest, if not the largest, man-made grotto.
Grotto?
It's
what makes it a man-made grotto?
Fuck if I know. Grotto of the Redemption, it apparently has a bunch of depictions of scenes from Jesus' life.
Wow.
Why would Jesus be in Iowa?
That's an excellent fucking question.
I don't know. I hear if you go to the state fair, you get to watch two petty presidential candidates act like shitheads.
Yikes. That's a perfect note to go out on. No,
yes,
it's not. It's terrible.
it isn't.
Damn it. Good night.
So what are we building up to now, Ames?
I don't think we introduced ourselves at the top.
Fuck, we didn't. We always do this with 10 forwards.
We do. Oh, that's right. I have to outro us. Fuck. I have no idea what time it is. So next week, holy shit. Oh, it's anniversary time. So anniversary time means next week is fanfic week.
Woo!
You remember several weeks ago, or however long
While
time
ago
happens?
now-ish.
I have no idea.
It's been a bit.
A bit ago, we drew our names out of hats. We've been busy, or I've been busy, writing up fanfics. Mine's going to be way too long. I apologize in advance. Mine's already very long.
It's okay. Mine's going to be very short.
Good. That balances things out.
Mine is going to be a script for literally one reason.
Interesting.
Mine's a haiku.
Ooh, I kind of want to see it. We will next week, so join us next week when we cover our fanfics that were inspired by Voyager, which we are so sad to have left, but it does mean that Enterprise is looming on the horizon, so keep listening for all of this great content.
Let's find out who among us wants to fuck Connor Trenier.
We've spent so much time covering, like,
all
Back
of
to the
us.
Future and covering this, and we're doing fanfic. By the time we get to Enterprise, it's going to have been a long time
Jesus God.
getting from there to here.
Fucking hell. Neat. That's a thing that happened. Yeah, so basically, also make sure you check out Jake and his family in that little bit at Universal Studios. It's cute and stupid, and the acting is bad. But Jake is adorable as a kid. So do that. Join us next week. Until then, this has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
And this is always Chris.
Kapla.
Kapla, man!
I would like your blood.
Ooh.